from Western North Carolina's news leader. This is News 13 at 11.
Right now at 11, an intense weather day in the mountains. Heavy flooding, washing out roads, turning asphalt into rubble.
And you're like, oh wow, that's the things that they take videos of on national news. It's happening like right in front of my house.
Roads looking more like rivers, businesses flooded out once again.
Multiple calls, alarm calls, and trees down, so it's been nonstop.
We're moments away from team coverage of the situation and reaction to the destruction. We begin tonight with breaking news. 2 homes are evacuated in South Asheville following a mudslide and gas line rupture. This is a live look from the staging area at Tuckaway Drive near Sweeten Creek Road. Firefighters on the scene tell us a mudslide caused a gas line to break, and tonight the gas company cannot fix that line because of all of that mud. One woman was trapped in her home and had to be rescued. At least 1 other home was evacuated. And tonight crews are working to see if any other homes should also be evacuated. Floodwaters rise, closing roads and putting people's lives in danger all across the mountains. We begin our live team coverage tonight with News 13's Raphael Pires. He joins us live from Biltmore Village. And Raphael, that area was evacuated today.
Tammy, that's right. The Asheville Fire Department posted on social media today asking people to seek higher ground. Now take a look here behind me. You'll notice that a lot of the water in this area has gone down. We're here on the intersection of Hendersonville and Sweeten Creek roads. But earlier today, the water was reaching close to my knees.
Flash flooding throughout the mountains left some spots looking more like rivers than roads.
We've seen it come up a few different times, and every time it floods, it gives us a little better understanding of how the water flows through the village.
For businesses throughout Biltmore Village, the situation is nothing new.
So we're definitely primed and ready to go. We just want to make sure that that everybody knows that we're used to doing this and that we are going to get this all cleaned up.
But until the water goes down, it's hurting their bottom line.
It's a little bit of a hassle, but we've got a great team behind us that help us out. Everybody jumps on board.
It was also all hands on deck for emergency crews.
Multiple calls, alarm calls, and trees down, so it's been nonstop.
Just while we were at Biltmore Village, we saw 2 cars attempt to drive through the floodwaters and get stuck, and 2 others were already there when we arrived.
Usually when someone's there, the other people are like, I better not drive through.
We know of at least 2 water rescues that took place in Asheville. And even as the storms pass through the night, officials urge everyone to play it safe.
And we've got streets blocked off, and hopefully people will stay out of the water.
Out of the water, yes, but tomorrow, hopefully back in area businesses.
We'll be flipping burgers and serving Lagunitas IPA all day tomorrow.
Now this area here really has just cleared up within the last 30 minutes or so, but if you notice, there are still some barricades out here, and officials are continuing to warn people not to drive around any barricades because, of course, if you do drive through any standing water, just like you just saw there in our story, could be a pretty dangerous situation. But for now, we're reporting live here from Biltmore Village in Asheville. I'm Raphael Pires, News 13.
Caught on camera, a water rescue in Arden. A car flipped over in floodwaters on Lance Lane near Avery's Creek. Viewer Michael Mulry sent us this video. We certainly do appreciate that. Skyland firefighters used a raft to get to the person there, and no word on the condition of that person who was in that car. Heavy downpours create a major mess on Town Mountain Road in Asheville. Too much rain took out part of a road, threatening a home below. News 13's Frank Crocker and his photographer caught some of the action just as it happened.
This spot along Old Toll Road just could not take it. A relentless flow of water undermined the asphalt, sending it sliding. A utility pole also threatened by the deluge of rain.
We need to get Duke Energy involved.
Asheville Public Works Director Greg Schuler was running the operation on scene, talking with his crews, taking photos, keeping an eye on a major problem in progress.
We don't know if this is finished moving yet.
Was it water from above and coming down the edge? Whoa, we just saw some fall right there. Wow, it is a fluid situation.
It is.
It's like one of those things that you see on the videos, you know, the national weather news.
Stefan Pruitt was headed home along Old Toll Road, came driving around the bend.
First thing I noticed was the power line sagging. I was like, oh man. So I was kind of like watching the power line, then I rolled up and I was like, all right, I should probably be more worried about the hole.
Pretty impressive, pretty scary. At times we could hear the earth cracking and the slide getting bigger.
Gail Britt lives on Bluebriar Road, directly below where the slide started. The gushing water and mud just missed her neighbor's home across the street. A very close call. She remembers her gut reaction.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. How bad is this? And just wondering where it was going to go.
It appears to be staying its course, straight down the mud gully it carved out of the mountainside. The city says what's considered a major slope failure will take a considerable amount of time to stabilize and to fix. In Asheville, Frank Crocker, News 13.
Now to a live look at the J.B. Lewis Soccer Complex in Asheville. Our crews are being held back tonight due to those high waters. Bad news for players, though, who are scheduled to start the new season on Monday. Earlier today, a viewer sent us this video of the rushing water covering the newly remodeled complex. In March, the city agreed to pay more than $800,000 to repair damage from last year's floods. Crews had just finished laying that new turf. New video tonight on the flooding on Riceville Road. The fire department tells us the floodwaters washed out a bridge near the 2200 block. That bridge will be closed until further notice. Now let's bring in meteorologist Rob Bradley. And Rob, the worst of the storm is over, but boy, it was a mess today.
Yeah, it was a mess. Record-breaking rainfall today across many areas of the mountains, and the rain isn't over. The good news is the heavy rain is over. We're still seeing a few light and scattered showers working their way out of the mountains this evening, and we still do have a good chance for rain tomorrow as well from a large area of low pressure that's off to our west. That area of low pressure is what brought in those strong storms today, actually connected to the polar vortex. Not quite that cold, but it is connected to that polar front way off to the north, and it's bringing in some cooler air. The cooler air combined with precipitation could mean snow for some higher elevations as we work our way through the weekend. Flash flood warnings still in effect for the next about 10 minutes in Henderson County, about another 25 minutes in Greenville and Pickens County. After those flash flood warnings expire, still have river flood warnings in effect through most of the weekend. Upper 40s already in Silva, 46 right now in Murphy. That cooler air continues to work its way in tonight as temperatures dip mostly to the low 40s and upper 30s. We're already 15 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. Those numbers will get a little bit lower too as the temperatures overnight get down to the upper 30s. Rain lingers tomorrow, snow for some. We'll talk about your cooler weekend and when things clear up coming up.
In Scotland, firefighters used boats to evacuate more than 20 people from a mobile home park. One by one, the boats transferred people and their pets to safety. Firefighters remind people once floodwaters begin to rise, the best thing to do is leave.
I just woke up in the morning and at first it was the river that was overflowing, and then it just came up to our yard, and then everything just started getting higher and higher.
In Black Mountain, just outside Owen High School, the intersection at Lake Eden Road and Old Highway 70 was flooded. And about a mile away, Highway 70 was overrun with water, so crews put up warning signs. More roads impassable tonight after today's intense flooding. Coming up, the areas you should avoid, plus the spot where the line of storms turned deadly. And speaking out, the family of a woman killed in a lion attack talks to reporters for the first time. Later, what they're asking North Carolina leaders to do to make sure an attack like this doesn't happen again.